I was a student, I was an undergrad student from the year 2012 to 2016. I studied life sciences. And so sort of where I come from in regards to my experiences with sexuality and religion, it wasn't something I talked about, it wasn't something I dealt with, it wasn't something I got into fights about with family. It was something that I kept inside, and it was something that scared me all the time because everything that was taught in Christianity I held to be true, and my sexuality started to come about around puberty. I was vaguely aware of it even before, and if you look back, there were signs, I guess. But when it comes, it was very strong for me, the romantic needs or the intimate needs and the sexual desires, and so that felt very real. But at the same time, my fear of like going to hell and being condemned for that was also very real. I felt very lonely and alone going throughout high school. I felt like I was the only one. There wasn't anyone I could talk to that could understand and could tell me that I'm perfectly fine, that there's no need for me to hate myself, that there's no need for me to fear that sort of punishment. I thought the university was like kind of a fresh start, and I told myself, your life is gonna be this, it's gonna continue the same way if you don't do something to change it, if you don't take a risk. During Frosh Week, one of the days there was a queer LGBT sort of panel. There was a panel of some speakers, and then after that, on the quad, there were some tables, and I saw Ralph. He had his own table, and no one came up to him, or at least not while I was paying attention. I was kind of debating with myself, should I go up? I looked around. There was a lot of green. There was a lot of activity on the quad. I think they were giving away ice cream or something. I was kind of eyeing the boys. They were playing, I don't know, like kicking a ball around each other. And I was like, I don't know if they're like me. There's always this voice in my head that's like, no one gives a shit about what you're doing. You're too self-conscious. I think that was the same voice that was telling me, just go do it. You're not going to lose anything if nothing comes out of it. No one here is watching me and judging me through the bushes. I was nervous, but eventually I just walked up. We had a conversation. I don't remember the details. It was mostly me talking about my struggles and my experiences. And I remember sort of feeling anxious but proud that I had that conversation or took that first step. It wasn't until maybe a few weeks into the school year that there was an event with QR. Then after that, Ralph approached me and he was like, hey, I've met a few students like yourself, and I was wondering if maybe you want to sort of get together and get to know one another. And some time went by, but I met up with Ralph again and another student in, I think it was a coffee shop, and we had a bit of a conversation, sort of shared our stories, and then Ralph brought the idea of us making this an official thing with its own title. Queer and Christian was something I was a part of for about 2.5 years. There was a lot of talking about personal experiences, struggles, challenges, and sometimes successes that arise out of your personal lived experience regarding conflicts between sexuality and your religion, trying to reconcile your beliefs and your values, attempts to reconcile or connect that aspect between you and your family and within your religious community. I was glad that I found Queer and Christian. It was there when I needed it, and I always came. I was the member that always showed up. I don't think I skipped out anything. Even after it ended, I was still, it's an ongoing process, I think. Still trying to find community, whatever that might be, as long as it feels right to me. Coming to Queer and Christian gave me that. I know that I didn't talk too much when I was in Queer and Christian, but just being there with people who had similar experiences, just listening to them talk and just knowing that there are people like this who exist. We're all in the same room. You feel a little less alone.